going to move along, and we are going to introduce Kendall Scudder. Kendall Scudder needs no introduction, and yet I am privileged to introduce our state party chair, a friend of mine, and this man is changing Texas. Thank you very much.
Jenny Laughlin, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this is such a great turnout. Thank you, Richardson, for letting me come and hang out with y'all. It's always just kind of overwhelming to even be here. I'm just a farm kid from East Texas, and it's weird to even get invited. I grew up on a Purple Hole pea farm in East Texas with lesbian mamas, which is how you know that I know how to fight. When I was 12 years old, Republicans were writing bills to take kids with same-sex parents out of our homes and put us in foster care. So I started knocking on doors. And for the last 23 years, I've served on every level of leadership in our party, including being elected as one of only 2 millennials in the country leading a major party here in Texas. Here's the thing about being the millennial chair. It's that I hope you understand that it's with a great affection for this party in my heart that I'm probably going to lay some hard truths on you today, Democrats. And it's because I genuinely believe that if this party intends to move forward, if this party intends to have success, we have to encounter within ourselves some hard truths. Here's the first one. Democrats have failed. I say that with great affection for this party who's given me and my family everything we've ever had. But this party has failed to connect with people that are counting on us. What does it mean when we fail? It's not like when some rando fails out somewhere. When this party fails, there are consequences. When this party fails, there are children who don't have access to public schools. There are families that don't have access to health care. There are people who die. When this party fails to meet the moment that's standing in front of them. So I challenge every one of you today to rethink the way this party has been operating. That is what I ran on. That's what I intend to bring to the Texas Democratic Party. My challenge to every one of these candidates here today is that I better not hear a single one of you out on the campaign trail talking about how you're going to preserve Social Security. You're going to talk about how you're going to expand Social Security. I don't want to see you talking about how everyone should be able to see a doctor. We have to make sure that the little guy at the bottom gets his fair share, because we're tired of sitting at the bottom and groveling for crumbs and not feeling like there is a party standing up and fighting back for the little guy. That's who in modern history our party has always been. I grew up, my granddaddy was born on that same Purple Hole pea farm into a wash bucket with nobody in the room but his mama, in a farm that only had electricity because of Franklin Roosevelt, Sam Rayburn, the New Deal, and the Democratic Party.
That's right.
He walked to school on cattle paths, alternating the days that he would go with his brothers because they shared a single pair of boots. And he went to schools that were mandated for the very first time by Democrats, while Republicans kicked and screamed and called it socialism, and he became the first person in our family who could read or write.
Wow.
In 1959, when the droughts hit Texas, our family lost everything. And we depended on programs from the Great Society of Lyndon Johnson, things like Medicare and Medicaid and expansions of Social Security programs that reduced poverty in this country by 75%. Big, bold, progressive ideas that change lives for working class people. And as a little kid in East Texas, when I started listening to the news, I asked my mama, who had me when she was a teenager. She didn't vote, okay? I asked her, what's the difference? What are these Democrats? What are these Republicans? And she said to me, Democrats are for the little people. Republicans are for corporations. We're Democrats. She knew as a teenage mother who had never voted in her life who she was. Do you know why? Because Democrats earned it. We earned that support from working class people. So back to the hard truth. When working class people walk away from our party, when we lose those votes in elections, it is no one's fault but our own, because we have failed to earn the votes of those people. I went to the grocery store the other day and cereal was $7 a box. Let's put that as a frame of reference for some folks. That means to buy a box of cereal in this economy, you now have to work an hour as a minimum wage worker for the opportunity for one box of cereal. That is the economy that has been created by Donald Trump and his billionaire Republican buddies. Make no mistake, the Republican Party today is nothing more than a conglomeration of class traders and trust fund babies who are lining up for their opportunity to feed at the trough of the American taxpayer, and we are not going to allow them to do it. So, to rethink the way this party operates, it means that we have to do things differently. I know change is scary. Change is hard. But that failure I described earlier should be scarier to you. The failure I described earlier should be harder to face than trying new things to make sure that this party gets drug into the 21st century, whether they like it or not. Opening up offices in Dallas, in Houston, in Amarillo, and in Eagle Pass to make sure that people across this country, across this state, know that they have a state party that's working as hard as they are. What we also have to do is make sure that in our messaging and the work we're doing, we're not being led around by the nose by a bunch of Republicans trying to get us to fall into their traps. I'm sorry? That's right. We have to make sure that we convey what we stand for, not that we don't like them. Tell people we don't like them, that's fine. But the way you earn generational support for this party is winning elections, campaigning for working class people, and then delivering for those working class people when we win. Holding Democrats accountable to deliver for those people. I want to give you a couple facts that might scare you. Did you know that the Texas Democratic Party has no Spanish language comms department? 30 to 35% of Texans speak Spanish at home, and we've not even walked in the door to talk to those people. And our jaws are on the ground when they leave our party and they don't vote for us, right? Wow, can't believe that they didn't vote for us when we didn't even bother walking in the door to talk to them. These challenges are the failure of our party apparatus. It's the failure of the DNC, the TDP, every one of us across the board. And we have to own it if we ever want to get through it. This is said from a place of love. And I hope that you know that under new leadership at the Texas Democratic Party, I am doing everything I can to make sure that we are changing the way that this party operates in Texas. Laser focused on one thing only, the only thing that matters to the chairman of the Texas Democratic Party, winning some fucking elections. I don't care which wing of the party you come from. This year, we're all from the Democratic wing of the Democratic Party, laser focused on working together on a team in a shared vision of winning elections. And as I wrap, because I know I've gone over my time and I apologize, as I wrap, I want to say that there are lots of different things you can do to help the movement. You know what those things are, okay? going up to Jenny and those wonderful folks working the table to sign up to volunteer, making sure that you're conveying the message of big, bold, progressive ideas that change lives for working families in those volunteer efforts. Number two, you can always sign up to become monthly contributors to the party. Number three, the most valuable thing that you can do to help the Democratic Party. Before I say it, I want to shout out 3 people that are here today that I haven't had a chance to do that to. If there's more, I'm sorry I missed you. But I believe that there's 3 members of the State Democratic Executive Committee here. I know Nate Clark is here. I know Larry Davis is here. Larry's the county chair out in Greenville, Texas. I know Mike Rollins was here. Mike. I promise I'm going to get to number 3, but I can't end a statement without recognizing these folks, because the only reason I've had the opportunity to do this, and the only reason that I've had the opportunity to try to bring change to our party, is because those 3 gentlemen have stood by my side and supported me in the work that I'm doing. And I'm so grateful for that. It's as hard as you think to bring change to the party, and those 3 have been very helpful. Okay. The third thing that you can do to be helpful to our cause is to be loud and proud about who you are as a Texas Democrat. That might sound a little hokey, okay? But it's just the truth. What they're trying to do right now is make us ashamed of who we are and what we stand for. What would we be ashamed of? We're right. Yeah. There's nothing to be afraid of in arguing or standing up for our values as a party. When I think of the great things that this party has, or that this country has done in the last 100 years, I think of things that were done by Democrats. I think of things like the New Deal I talked about earlier, that brought electricity and clean water and Social Security to families that were counting on us for that opportunity to survive. We did it because as a party, we understood the complexity of economics. We understood that investing in those rural communities meant that rural folks were now buying light bulbs and lamps and dishwashers. It rebounded the American economy from the Great Depression, saved the world during World War II. Democrats delivered that with Republican opposition every step of the way. I think of the Great Society, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, brought to you by Democrats, reducing poverty in this country by 75% with Republican obstruction every step of the way, because they said it was socialism. It was brought to you by Democrats. We put a man on the moon. Can we organize in both rural and urban areas? We put a man on the moon. When everyone said it was impossible, it was a farce, it was a fantasy, it was something you only read about in children's books, Democrats knew that investing in science and academia would put a man on the motherfucking moon. And make no mistake about it, don't let a person in a red hat lead you astray. We were the party that provided the last balanced budget that this country has ever seen. But Richardson area Democrats, what I'm here to tell you today is that that was not just brought to you by Democrats. It was brought to you by Texas Democrats. Because Sam Rayburn gave you the New Deal, and Lyndon Johnson gave you the Great Society. Houston scientists put a man on the moon. Lloyd Benson balanced that budget. When Texas Democrats have our shit together, this whole country sees such great things ahead of it. But when Texas Democrats don't, the National Party loses its vision. The National Party requires us to drag it forward with big, bold, progressive ideas that change lives for working class people. Know that you can count on me and the Texas Democratic Party in this upcoming election to tirelessly do everything that we can to change the course of this party, to put it back on track and to start winning elections to save people's lives. We've had great progress over the last 5 months, and we're just getting started. Thank you very much, Richardson.
Y'all, he has been at this for 6 months now. But before you won, he has been everywhere across this state and outside of this state. Thank you very much. He went with those Democrats that broke quorum. He went out there with them. He is doing everything that we have needed for years. We have never heard from a Democratic Party chair before, and we have him here with us to tell you guys what to do. And that's why we're here tonight, and thank you so much. Oh, okay. We do need to call this out. He said blah 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 on this, but I want you guys to know when he took office, the Democratic Party was in the shitter. We had a ton of debt, and this man has gone out, and you can tell why. People said, I can believe in that. I can give to the I did for the first time when he told me about it. I am now a monthly donor to the Texas Democratic Party. That's right. I mean, there's a lot of us. And he has gotten the party in the black. Woo! In 5 months. That's the first time I've heard that. $2 million. We are so privileged to have Kendall Scudder as our chair, and we're going to win. We're going to win.